Here with Benjamin Merlini Wu.
No one calls me Benjamin.
Really? Not even your mom?
No, my mom calls me Abena.
Abena.
In typical Asian fashion.
Okay. And now that you're a big-time #1 strategy analyst caster, how has your life changed? Are people recognize you in the street? Do they come up to you, mob you?
I would actually say more so than like the mid-tier popular players, like Dendi. Obviously, I'm not as popular as, but I've actually been approached a couple times in public. Usually, people say they recognize my voice more than anything else. I guess they listen to me while they're doing stuff in the background or at work. And a lot of people, as weird as it may sound, they say they listen to me while they fall asleep. I guess I stream.
So you're boring? Is that what they're saying?
Well, I stream like later for European. It's mostly the European people that tell me that.
Oh, wow, okay. So you got a European following.
Supposedly, yes.
Are you sad that you're not playing in this? Would you rather be playing than casting?
I like playing a lot. It depends on what you're looking for. Casting is more.
Are you good enough though? Because you know what they say.
Maybe not.
You know what they say.
I still haven't reached 6K yet, so I'm pretty sad about that. But
no.
Okay. But that's okay. If I pick Faceless Void every game. Every time I play against Eternal Envy, it's Faceless Void. It makes me a little sad.
Well, he's practicing.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. He has played a lot this tournament, and has been one of the hit heroes this tournament.
So we're very worried that this interview is going to be too generic, because you have a lot of funny stories, but they all might be inappropriate for this setting.
Yes.
So we got to make this interesting. Because I hear they might show it on stream.
That's not my job. That's your job.
Yeah, it is my job. I don't know. We can talk about players. You want to talk about players? You know all the players, right?
I know most of the players.
Okay. So who among the players have you hung out with the most?
I hung out with Fogged a lot. I actually played Dota with Koikva yesterday. First time playing with him in a real life setting. Jimmy, I know a decent amount too. He actually thanked me for popularizing the classic Jimmy buzz viral.
That was you?
Yeah.
You're the pioneer. Classic Jimmy.
Well, I've been playing with Jimmy for so long, and every time I play with him, there's always something ridiculous going on. He's always like, "Hey Ben, watch this," and then he would just like do something ridiculous with Morphling. He'll like shotgun somebody in, like blink inside their base, like Ghost Scepter again, and just all this ridiculous things.
The Liquid Dota has this live report thread, and anytime Demon plays, you just see people screaming classic Jimmy and like Jimmy plays and stuff, and you have no idea whether it's good or bad. It's like you've just like it could be amazing, it could be terrible, and no one can tell just because people just yell his name.
He's the classic example of a high risk, low reward player.
High risk, low reward.
Yeah. Well, I remember just one time, like he was, the bottom rune, and then just to the bottom left of that, there's that really popular ward spot. So he dragged someone up there, and then this was when Batrider was like really strong, and he lassoed someone up there, and they were just burning, and he was just sticking napalm stacks. He was just flying around them, watching them burn, and at the last second, he just like casually knocks them off the cliff just to do so, and he wastes like 10 seconds in doing so. Like most people would they'll just Firefly outside of range, start right clicking, and then he just does these things that are terribly inefficient and could potentially change the flow of things, but he doesn't really care. He loves the flashy stuff, and I remember reading something how he like drops his point booster just to pop Magic 6. That's something that he would totally do.
And are you that kind of player, or are you more?
I'm more straight-laced.
You're Envy.
I'm not as try-hard as Envy.
So there's a scale of try-hard, like who's the least and who's the most?
Well, Jimmy can be pretty try-hard, but he can also be pretty, like, he can be 1. And Envy, I guess he can be put as 10.
Okay, and then let me ask you a few, where's Havost? Where's Havost on that scale?
Havost is, I was going to say 4, and then I was like, well, that's too easy of a joke to make. But he's around there.
Around a 3 or a 5? Between a 3 and a 5?
Yeah, between 3
roughly.
and 5.
Okay, what about Sing Sing?
Sing Sing? I don't know. He plays a lot of different things. He's pretty try-hard too. He's like up there, 8+ easily.
The facade he shows on his stream is just a smoke screen. It's smoke and mirrors. He's the most tryhard player there is.
A lot of people complain about that. They're like, those are the people that you dislike the most. Not that Sing Sing's facade is necessarily that bad, and like being tryhard on stream is a little boring, I suppose. But some of the other players have facades, supposedly, or streamers and personalities, and people really dislike that.
Like who? Who was a facade? No, come on, let's go.
No names. Come on.
What do you mean? This is what the interview's for. To call out people.
Anything. interesting. I'm also very low drama.
Come on.
I mean,
Merlini, why am I interviewing at all? Low drama.
Please.
Can we create some?
Please.
What about that GameFi stuff? That's crazy.
I don't know. That's not my area of expertise.
Okay. All right.
You can tell me about it.
They apparently recorded some DK, like they were discussing drafts or something, and they recorded them, and then like they posted them online. You know, they apologized for it. We'll see. We'll see what comes of it.
Well,
Maybe there will be a humorous article written about it.
when something's this high of stakes, you're gonna have crazy stuff like that. So I wouldn't say it's terribly unexpected, and they just need to be prepared for things like that.
Well, they went into the room and they recorded it, so like
We have
I
security.
don't know. It's frowned upon.
Yeah, that should not happen.
What stuff has happened that you would say is, you know, out of the ordinary, interesting?
Dota or non-Dota?
Outside of Dota, you know, casting, all that kind of stuff. Has everything just gone according to schedule, or?
I would say so. Pretty much.
And then in game, a lot of crazy stuff.
I didn't expect Navi to do so well. They were actually my top 6, as was Alliance. So Navi performed better, according to my book, and Alliance performed way worse. Vici, of course.
But you had Alliance not in your top 6.
No, I had Alliance in my top 6 and Navi. So
Navi.
Alliance ended
So
up.
Navi did exactly what you thought they would do.
Yes, but that's not what everyone else expected them to do. They're like,
Oh, okay,
they're
yeah.
not even gonna make blah 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 blah. And
They make it every year, though. Come on.
yeah, I know. That's what that's what I thought. And
They got some help, though.
Vici actually really surprised me because they didn't do terribly well at the summit, and a lot of tournaments. They lost to Fnatic at ESL 2, or ESL 1, 2, and they just FY and Framir. They're probably the best support duo that I've seen this tournament. PBD and Zai come close.
Okay, and we can talk about the summit. You lived with some players for like a week.
Yes.
How was that?
I've seen almost all those players at LANs, so I'm relatively familiar with them. I think it was really nice for the players, though, because they don't have to worry about a lot of things and just interacting with the public. I mean, it's when you're a player, you have to be a popular figure and you have to win. And then almost every time as a competitive player, you just want to concentrate on winning. You just want to, crank out games, study replays, and just discuss things with your team. And then anything else you want to save for after you're out of the tournament, so you can devote 100% of your efforts. And I think a lot of people understand that, but there's a small minority that don't, that make the general public look bad. And that's why a lot of the players, they're somewhat reluctant to talk to players or do anything more than like a brief signing or picture. So that onus wasn't on them that time, and they can just relax and have fun and chat with people that they normally like to chat with. They're mostly fairly social people.
You think it's gonna get more and more like real sports when the Dota players get more and more popular, like less accessible, more PC tweets, kind of like no interaction with the public?
It's already heading that way, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so.
And especially with almost every team having a manager, and even now coaches. Coaches are extremely popular.
Would you be a good coach, you think? Coach Wu?
I'd be honest. And I don't know if I'd be the best at lifting up morale. That's not my forte.
You suck. You sucked that game.
Well,
That's my advice. Don't suck.
I don't want to be like, well, hey, you guys tried really hard. It's when
I don't think they do that though. I don't think the coaches do that.
Well, they have to bring them up from really terrible games. They're like, oh, you guys could have done better. I don't know. What are you supposed to say to that?
Sometimes though, teams just need a good berating.
That's true, but
Are you good at beration?
I am, but after a certain period of time, the berating loses its efficacy, and then you can't really berate them anymore, and you have to find new ways. So I'm not.
You can berate harder. Just keep snowballing it.
It just reminds me of elementary school. You get the most improved award. It's like, yay! It's a small consolation for what actually was there.
And how would you say you approached casting when you first started casting? Obviously, you would say you cast a lot different than you do now. How did you go about improving?
I asked my real life friends for feedback actually, and asked what they wanted to hear about. A lot of the times they wanted to hear about why people make decisions, and a lot of the casting nowadays is just play by play, and the viewers have eyes, most of them, and can see what's going on. So they don't actually. Oh, there's some people that would prefer audio only cast because maybe they're, I don't know, doing something else. But the large majority of the viewers can already see what's going on, and they don't actually need the play by play. Maybe it's for a really exciting game, and you
You gotta get the hype.
you have to get the hype. I understand that.
You get better at hype.
I'm not a hype caster. I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, and hype is not. One of the things that LD and God told me is like, when I'm bored with the game, you can tell that I'm really bored with the game. So that's, I can't feign.
Do you have a noise? You should make a noise.
A noise?
Like a hype noise. You know, LD has the wow.
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 That one always gets me too.
Yeah, that one's great.
It gets me hyped.
Does that clip haunt him though?
I don't think he actually minds that much.
That clip's hilarious though.
It's really funny.
It's like the best example of the overreaction. Mm-hmm. And LD's overreaction, and then that's like a super recognizable sound. You should make a sound like that. We should coin one.
Wow. You can help me out with that.
You can do a whoa, and then just like do it really, really, really fake.
Also, the play-by-play casters don't really like it when the other people interject while they're doing their hype, so it wouldn't be that great.
Really, they're doing their hype. You just make noises. Like the Korean casters do that, you know? I'm talking about in old school StarCraft, they like just scream and then you just go, oh, and stuff's going on.
It's a different style. I have to actually be super impressed with something for me to make high-pitched noises, which doesn't happen often. I've seen a lot of things.
What's the most impressive thing you've seen at this TI thus far?
I remember the most impressive thing I saw at ESL, and it was more impressive than anything that I've seen here.
What was it?
Admiral Bulldog. He was escaping with Nature's Prophet versus Cloud9, and he had this really sick, like, sheep and orchid as a bane came onto him. His reflexes were absolutely ridiculous, and he immediately TP'd out while both of them were disabled standing next to him. That split decision making just doesn't happen every day.
He's very good at ratting.
He is very good at
That's his he probably plans his routes of escape very well. Yes. You think that's why they didn't rat enough? The Alliance, you think that's why they didn't do that well? They didn't rat enough? They had to rat more?
I don't actually know why they didn't do that.
Well, they won a lot of games with the ratting.
Yes, they did. That's their strength. And they either need to develop other strategies or play to their strengths, and it doesn't seem like they've done the former. So if they haven't done the former, they need to do the latter. Winter is their coach now, and he's a very experienced player, very high skilled, and
he's 0 for 1 in internationals though.
He is. He is. But
and they were 100% until then.
It's a five-man gig. At an international, you can't have a solo player carry you into victory. If you're way better than your teammates, you're not gonna make it. Just like Arrow. Arrow has DDZ. He's a phenomenal player. His other players are dubious. They're dubious supports and dubious cores, and you can see that they only won 2 games, or maybe I don't know. Was it 2 games?
2 very important games, though.
2 very important games. Yes.
They knocked that Navi US knocked them out of the playoffs, and
they beat Liquid,
which also put them out of the top 6. So yes. Those 2 games, not a lot of teams thanking Arrow, you know.
Not Liquid and
Navi US, but
yeah, those were 2 very important games, and it just shows you that you have to have a lot of depth to your roster. And all the teams now, they have a lot of depth, and 1 or 2 weak players will just completely blow apart your team. It's completely different than how Dota was before.
And next year, even higher skill level. You excited?
Yes.
Do you think you can hang with these guys if you played?
Maybe. I play with them sometimes. I play the in-houses leagues a fair amount. I like playing with PPD a lot, actually.
Yeah, it tells you what to do.
Yeah, he tells me what to do, and I don't argue.
You know, he reminds me. I saw this comment. Someone tweeted at me. Do you know Dexter?
I know Dexter.
The lab.
With him. Oh yeah, Dexter's laboratory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy looks like PPD. The glasses. He's kind of like swagging out.
Yeah. I like PPD because he always has a game plan, though. Not necessarily because he doesn't tell me what to do very often, but he always has a clear plan as to how the game's going to develop. He has a vision, I suppose. He may not be the best player, but his drafts and his strategic mind really carry EG. Without him, the team would.
They're a bunch of children, though. They need a father to tell them what to do.
That's what's really scary about EG is that they have a lot of years ahead of them. If you look at DK or some of the other players, they're like in their latter half of their 20s, so they don't have
all under 23, and some in their teens. A few not even 18 yet.
Yeah, and University's what, the oldest probably?
Yeah, and he's like.
Yeah, and he's super quiet. He's
still young too, so
he needs direction a little bit.
Okay. You got anything else for me, Merlini? Give me a story. Give me a story time.
Story?
Story time from the summit or ESL or anything that you've been to.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Well, nothing appropriate.
Nothing appropriate off the top of my head.
What are all these inappropriate stories, though? Give me a general outline of what goes on.
I have one idea, so I don't think I can tell you that one.
Just try and describe them. You know, is it just people doing dumb things?
Well, I wouldn't say it's dumb.
Just people doing
It
scandalous.
was at the after party.
Oh, after party. Well, it's gonna get streamed this time, so you don't need to tell any stories. It'll just be on stream.
I'm not terribly thrilled about that after party being streamed.
Really?
I guess a player.
Can you tell a story about how you met your girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was doing the TI3, the Eastern qualifiers. So I flew over to Beyond the Summit. It was my first time meeting them, and then we had a lot of
We
fun.
met for the first time.
Yes,
Yeah.
we met for the first time, and we were on the night schedule.
It was a life-changing moment for you, I know.
Yes.
We played some board games.
We played a lot of board games. We haven't played any here yet.
Nah, we didn't. But you know, we're busy. Maybe in the future we can play some Smash. And then
You guys wrecked me though.
I don't know.
Okay,
You're pretty good.
going on with the story, we were doing the qualifiers, and I had to attend a wedding right before Memorial Day. It was Memorial Day weekend, and I had just finished my shift. It was like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, and we hadn't had like any free time because the schedule was pretty strict, and it was just a lot of games. So I was like, oh yes, finally we had some time to relax. So then we started drinking. Everyone's over 21, of course, and
Yeah.
I drank a lot.
Maybe too much. Maybe a little too much.
Well, it was me, Gods, and Aoi that were there earlier. I think Aoi had to leave a little bit earlier for whatever reason, and he calls rock, paper, scissors, ching, chong, push. And then first time we were like just going to get something to eat, and then we were trying to vie for shotgun, and then he's like, let's ching, chong, push for it. We're like, what'd you just say? He's like, yeah, ching, chong, push. And then now he's a very nice guy and, you know, not racist in any sort of manner. So we're like, what the heck is ching, chong, push? He's like, you know, ching, chong, push. And then we're like, oh, you mean rock, paper, scissors? Like, yeah, in Vancouver we call it that. So then we just like started ching, chong, pushing the whole night for random things. And
Okay.
I got really drunk, and then I slept from like 6 to 8. I had a flight at like 10 at LAX.
It's like 2 hours. Okay.
Yes, and then I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I don't remember if I had packed the night before, and I don't remember very much of what was going on, but Kevin and I had to go to the airport, so the girl in question was nice enough to take us to the airport, and then first thing, she sees me and she's like, you gotta be kidding me. And she had already had some other...
This is the first time you met her.
Yes.
This
is she already had some bad stuff going
She's a
on.
friend, and she's there to try to help you get to the airport. They called her, and she's like, okay, yeah, I'll help give this guy a ride. So you meet like, hi, I'm Ben. Like I'm Ben.
And then I said, I want to throw up in your car, which is probably not the best policy, but I like to keep it honest. I like to keep it real. And then Kevin tries to be the voice of reason. He's like, oh, I promise he won't throw up in the car. I'll make sure he doesn't.
Kevin Purge.
He gave me a double big garbage bag, and I sat in the back seat. And it's like a 45+ minute ride to the airport. And
LAX, yeah.
In the meantime, I'm in the back seat the whole time, just like head inside the trash bag, and in the front seat is the driver and Kevin.
The girl who's driving. Yeah.
Yes, they're talking about her issues, which is just guy issues. So I'm just like throwing in random words of wisdom the whole entire time because I'm like,
you're a nice girl.
Yeah, I was.
You should be doing well.
Someone involved in the conversation. I was like, oh, don't hate on this guy. He's my. It was really bad. So Kevin was telling me the whole time, oh, Ben, don't throw up, don't throw up, don't throw up. And then I didn't throw up. And then when we got to the airport, I was like, okay, Kevin, can you help me get to the terminal? Because I don't know if I'm going to make it. I was really out of it. And then he's about to miss his flight. We were running a little bit late, so he had to leave first. We drop him off at his terminal.
Oh God!
As soon as he gets off and he doesn't tell me to stop throwing up anymore, I just vomit all in the bag at least, and then
in her car. And she's like, what was her reaction?
I
need to date this guy. That's what her reaction was.
My reaction was like, okay, I need to immediately take this out. The car smelled like vomit, and then I took the bag out, threw it in the thing, and then she gave me some water, I think, and then I started like spittling it all over the carpet, which is better than throw up. So that was that. And then I made it on my flight. I had a flight from LAX to Charlotte, and I felt terrible the whole entire time. So fast forward 2 months, and then I ask her out on a date. She doesn't actually know that it's a date. Okay, so I don't have this like really weird thing against.
Remember me? I'm the guy that threw up in your car. At least you're memorable, Merlini.
Yes. Well, I was. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah. She remembers you for sure. Trust me.
Yeah, it's a
Like
move,
that.
guys. It's a move.
Just throw up in the girl's car, and then she'll remember you forever, and then you can ask her on a date later, 2 months later.
I asked her out on a date. Well, firstly, I asked for her number via Facebook because I didn't actually have her number beforehand, and I didn't want to ask for her Facebook because that seemed kind of tacky. So I got her number and I asked her for a date, and she didn't really actually know that it was a date because like a couple days before, she's like, "Who else is coming?" And I was just like, "What?" And then I just
You don't bring the parents on the first date?
they were
parents
all
right
the
away.
way in Georgia.
Mr. and Mrs. Wu. Like, this is the girl that took care of me while I was drunk.
You know, they saw my tub interviews, and
Top interviews, what'd they think?
they sent me an email. He's like, "Hey Benjamin, we saw you in the tub with another guy. Please don't do again. This was silly. Love, Mom and Dad."
They're worried.
They were worried.
Okay. And she was like, okay, so, you know, this guy, not just about throw up, he's about other things.
And then we went on a date, and from there it's history. So that wraps it up.
So, advice to all aspiring, you know, boyfriends out there: just
Be
throw
yourself.
up, be yourself, be honest.
Be honest.
Throw up doesn't get in the way.
Yeah, I don't like.
Cool enough.
I mean, we were talking about facades and stuff earlier. If you like try and pretend to be someone else, you can't pretend it for the entirety of your relationship. And hopefully, you're aiming for the long run.
Okay. Well, that is a story. That is a good one.
That one's appropriate.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's about me.
Yeah, it's about he doesn't throw up anymore. Don't worry. We'll make sure that we get it on camera this time if you do it right.
Oh God.
On stream. It's a sandstorm just everywhere. It'll be great. All right, let's do shout outs and call outs. What are your shout outs?
Shout outs to my girlfriend. Shout outs to Val for having me here. Shout outs to you guys and all the viewers. I appreciate it. All the people who bought my signatures, of course. And,
Oh, yeah.
And the people who didn't. It's okay. No solicitation.
And what's your call out? Give me at least one.
Call out?
Yeah.
What's call out?
You know what a call out is?
What's a call out?
It's the opposite of a shout out.
Oh.
You're not allowed to say no one. You're not. You really are not. You got to say someone.
Anyone
or something.
Call outs?
No one?
I don't think so.
You love everyone. Come on.
I don't have huge beef with anybody.
You don't have enemies?
Someone has to mess up a lot for me to not like them.
Okay.
Like a lot.
What about Gods? Don't you hate him? What a terrible co-caster.
He's fun.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
He did smell one time during the cast, and I was like,
His feet.
Yeah.
He's Enchantress. He's got to prepare.
We sit side by side just like this, and then one of the tables I sit at one corner and he sits at, like here, and then I was like, man, my feet smell terrible today, and then I try and figure out what the heck is going on because I just took a shower the morning of, and then I was like, man, do my sandals smell? So I take my sandals off and I smell. I was like, that's not it. And then his feet was right next to me.
It was God's.
Yeah, it was the last day though, so I was like,
It's a good. Okay, all right. I'll take it. That counts. Thank you for the interview. We'll see you at the analyst table at Key Arena, right?
Yeah, I'm actually going on for the last series of today.
Okay, all right.
At the analyst desk.
Thank you, and see you.
Thank you.